see if that brings it back. Thank you.
I'm getting readings off, yeah, that should be it.
There's a delay, so I'll see if it comes in.
It's registering, so, okay. Okay, I'm sorry.
Where were we?
Solicitations, additions to the agenda.
Well, I've got a comment. Evidently, the county wasn't happy about getting a bill for $600 from the city of Harrington. And I said, well, I'm not even aware of what this is. And he says it's for plugging in their tractors or something like that.
I can say. It's part of the co-location agreement and the co-location building for the use of electricity for a year.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
written into the agreement.
Oh, so they should be aware of that?
I may have gone to the wrong department, that's part of the.
Needs to go to the broadband office.
Broadband office.
Okay.
Not
'cause
just the- not to the-
Sanford got it and gave it to
Okay.
Chris Phillips and.
Yeah, that goes
Then
to
he
the
started
broadband
rattling
office.
off all the
Yeah.
things that the county does for
Yeah,
the city,
no,
blah,
that
blah,
was-
blah.
That
Okay.
was part of the, you couldn't just give them the space. There had to be some sort of
Okay, I
remuneration.
can let him know.
Yep. Okay, that's done. Okay, discussion for the appointment for council position number 4. I forgot the process, but we have one letter of intent.
Interest or intent?
Interest, intent. Chris, do you have anything you want to present, or?
I'm Chris Meets. I've been working in IT for almost 30 years now. My primary focus is the setup, maintenance, and integration of the physical infrastructure for a company called Clearwater Paper. So I work in the IT department. I do everything from project management to infrastructure design to security design to you name it. And I feel my background and skills would be useful for the council.
All right.
I also am a co-owner with Janice on the Harrington House. Lived in town for, I think, 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, any questions from the council to?
I
the
just have a
candidate?
comment. I know that it's been sporadic that I haven't been able to leave. And if Chris was appointed, that would be both of us being away from the restaurant. But this week I rectified that and I have backup for council meetings for Wednesday nights and then I have a backup for our backup.
Cool,
So
okay.
we do have the coverage.
It's a small town, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that's tough to find, so thank you.
And, well, I gotta say, reiterate that this position will be up for grabs again a year from now. Or have to be elected in,
2025.
you're right.
If what I was told is correct.
It is,
So-
'cause I,
So, yeah, you have to file for the position when the filing comes open, which I believe will be sometime in May, I think the third week or something like that typically, and then on through the process.
right. That's the caveat to it. And then it's good.
And then it's good for the rest of that
2020
term.
yeah,
which would be, I
2027.
think, another 2 years after that.
Yeah.
So,
So I make a motion to appoint Mr. Meets as our council number 4 position.
Okay, got a motion?
I'll second it.
Okay. So we have a first and a second. Any discussion?
I'm good.
I said what I needed to say.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Oh, no, not on my end.
Okay. I think we're right to all in favor of appointing Chris Meets to council position number 4, signify by saying aye.
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 I forgot,
That would
Stephen.
be it, 4-0. Thank you. Can I dare say we can bypass our executive session at this point?
Unless
Okay.
you have any questions for, or concern with the restaurant stuff, but I think
No, that would be, wouldn't be the right place to have that anyway. So Chris.
Taking the oath.
Right now. Mind signing it? Then I'll get your signature. Sure.
I, Chris Meeks, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the state of Washington and all local ordinance, and that I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties of the office of the Harrington Council position 4 according to the law and the best of my abilities.
Cool.
Congratulations.
Welcome. Okay, we're not gonna have less space at the table again. Thank you. Have a seat.
Now I get to watch all those videos.
All right. Thank you. Prefer to have a full council. Two items on our agenda that would hopefully can get reviewed and discussed, maybe put to bed tonight. The first is an ordinance. There is no ordinance written at this point, but basically, we're looking to acknowledge that we're allowing the PDA to, they want to be dissolved, the members are currently, so is the council in agreement, is what we're looking for.
I do have some concerns over another entity making changes within the city without coming to the city.
To the best of my knowledge, this would eliminate that from being able to be done by anybody. Because the way I read it, this was the only people that really could
Right.
do things within the city.
So the new, what's it called? If they want to replace the PDA, that other, the other entity.
No, okay, it's not a replacement. That is a program to enhance the city. It doesn't have any authority.
So they would rather put their time and energy into this program than have a PDA, is that?
I think, I can't speak to them.
Yeah.
I just know that as far as the PDA is concerned, the biggest thing is there's no leadership to take it on and continue it going,
Right, okay.
so.
Has there been any soliciting of interest? I mean, have they reached out to anybody?
I am fairly certain
Okay.
they have, I don't know specifics, but I have a hard time believing that they didn't try to find other people that would be interested in carrying the banner.
Does anybody know the last thing they did, or what did they accomplish in their, since 2003? The reason why I go there, Mr. Mayor, and to all, is some archived information of March 6, 2003. And this was published in the, at that time, the Davenport Times. And Harrington looks at a possible PDA, Public Development Authority. And the question is, would a public development PDA be in the best interest of Harrington? Question mark. And that's my question to everybody here. I was hoping for more input from the citizens. Obviously, I don't know, but would it serve the city? Do we need one? That's my first question. And in this article, it talks about, it's a paragraph here, and the mayor was given the head to create a PDA, undertake the priority public projects in partnership with private interests is what they were gonna do. So, given kind of that, and what the scope of the nature of a PDA, pros and cons. I don't really want to go through a process of starting another one later. What did they actually do? What did they accomplish? Excuse me.
The only thing that I know of, and I have not confirmed this, but through rumor and scuttlebutt, if you will, is that the original fiber that came into town was a project that they put together. And it wasn't broad sweeping, it was just that one this
Right.
town section. I understand that was a project that they put together. When they were working hard and they had a presentation to the council, that they were looking at having an an electric vehicle charging station put in at Town Square. That didn't happen. And for a couple of other reasons, I'm glad it didn't, because Avista does not, by their own structure, Avista doesn't allow for electric vehicle stations to be placed in a public right of way.
Right.
So it wouldn't have been appropriate where they were looking to put it to begin with. But aside from that, I mean, there may have been other little community projects, I don't know, and
Yeah.
they're not here to tell me, so.
Well, I hope, my concerns are is if we really need it, maybe not right at this moment, why disband, can it go idle? Do we really need to disband it?
I think the
That don't
reason for
answer it.
disbanding is, well, there are certain reporting requirements,
Mhm.
both to the city and to the state, and I don't think those are gonna happen, so they may be disbanded administratively to begin with. But the problem is, if you don't have a leadership, it's tough to have a committee or a group to do anything when there's nobody there.
It just sounds like nobody wants to do it, right?
And I don't,
Sounds like.
Yeah.
and this article goes to say that there's one in Odessa and Wilbur Crescent areas was referred to, and I don't know at this particular time if those are still in place.
I know Odessa still has theirs. Davenport does not through their not through their,
City or town.
I wanna say it was Odessa and Harrington were the only ones in.
Wilbur,
in-
Wilbur Crescent no longer?
I don't believe they have a PDA. I could be totally wrong, but
I could,
there was only a handful left.
I think my personal opinion is it felt to me like it was an arm of
the city,
an arm of the
yes.
city, yeah, if you want to put it that way, that could just get stuff done more from a business philosophy. Let's just step in and get it done.
Cut through the red tape.
When I read through our ordinance, I did see that the city at the time had pulled back some of the traditional
Leniency.
authority that they would have. There was some authority for signing, I can't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head, I'd have to read it again, but it was, had to do with, I think, getting loans or
Right.
buying property in this, they couldn't do anything in the city's name, that was for sure. So,
Have the clerk, staff, or the mayor heard anything off the street or people come in, even though they're not here? Has anybody expressed to any member, hey, you need to do this or do that?
no, and
Okay, so-
I've, to the best of my knowledge, there's 3 people that are still on it, and they're all not interested in continuing.
Okay.
Just a general lack of enthusiasm.
Right, but yeah, I get that, and I don't know how much. I mean, I'm right on the fence. It doesn't matter really to me which way. It's just that this is I work for the, or we all work for the citizens here, and without their input, I mean, I'd really like somebody to come in and say something, but with that, I'm not for shadow governments, you know, or for other entities backdooring, and I don't think that's what this was. You know, we kind of shoved it, you know, the grant, right, you know, the grants and stuff we received, we put, from the ordinance itself was explaining that these people would the PDA would implement them and kind of like cut through the red tape and go, you know, process working with people and getting it going. So if there's no interest in doing that, then I guess my vote would say, accept their advice, you know, terminate it.
Okay.
So I'm curious, the 3 people who are part of the PDA, have they submitted an official request to have it dissolved?
Yeah, they had.
Okay. Was there any effort put in to find replacements?
They had.
So anything,
It's a corporation in and of itself that was created by the city, but the city doesn't control its operations. So,
oh no, I get that.
okay.
I hadn't heard that they'd put anything in the paper or Lincoln Advertiser or anything like that. Just trying to solicit other people to take this over.
Did
I
advise
haven't
us.
heard anything to that effect either. I just know they wanted to close it down. So-
Wouldn't be bad for it to be put in the paper. I mean, when thinking about it, I mean, I'm not opposed really either way. I mean, if there's not any people to do it, but how do we know that there's not people out there that want to do it? I mean, that's,
So you suggest maybe we advertise a week or two, put it in there, hey, interested parties want to join PDA, good luck?
I would be resistant that the city does that. I think that's within
Yeah,
their own authority to take care of that themselves. So,
right.
I wish somebody
right.
would have shown up tonight so we could have asked questions. That would have been.
so.
We know who they are, don't we? Can we summon them?
Is
They
there,
knew this meeting was happening
Oh,
tonight.
they did, okay.
Is there-
And they waived the right to a
They
meeting.
didn't
The only reason we had a
come
public
twice.
hearing was because our attorney, when reading the ordinance, felt it was addressed in there, so we needed to check the box.
I'll just ask the pointed question. By having a PDA, does that hamper or interfere with other goals or thoughts and activities planned
Not that I'm aware
or
of.
organizations?
If they would be the ones who would take over the administration of grants and actually
Their own grants,
their own,
yeah.
okay. So not anything done by the city. They wouldn't help facilitate the management of any city grants or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
Think of them as a port, like the port of Tacoma. Their whole job is to just bring in commerce and do it, and they operate as a piece of the government, but they operate autonomously from them. Only thing I can think of is, and I cannot think of a project, but if there was a public project that could be done for the benefit of the city, that they could spearhead and control and do and all the rest of it, that would be what they're needed for. But I can't think of that project right now. I mean, they're not gonna be out there getting grants to resurface the roads.
Is that
It's
gonna,
not their role.
yeah, any way connect the city or the town square?
They did not, to the best of my knowledge, I mean, the problem is we have the same
Yeah.
group of people that have their fingers in a lot of different stuff.
Sure.
I don't think they had anything as a PDA, anything to do with the town square.
Right. I'm just thinking of projects and stuff, you know, can't think of another one right offhand.
Hypothetically, if the city came up with something that would benefit the city, we could do it. It just probably takes longer because the government process is much more in depth.
Right. There's no time limit on, or was there a time limit on something here?
So you said there's not an ordinance already written or anything
I have some samples that.
for the dissolution?
Yeah, for the dissolution that came from other cities, but I didn't bring them or present anything. I'd be happy to send them off to you guys and you can look at them and craft one. So,
I say we table it till we look at the ordinances and
okay. Any objection to tabling it?
No, I'll second that.
Do we need to vote to table it? I don't think so. Okay. The Harrington Procurement Policy Resolution. I've got a clean copy here if you guys need one. We desperately need to have this in place. We have some money to get reimbursed. That's the immediate need at $10,000. And then the auditor has asked for this, and
The state auditor?
the state auditor has asked this actually for a couple of years. So, the language and everything in there has, like I mentioned last time, has gone past the attorney and it's all been approved, and he had a couple of changes which have been made. The only real question,
Was the dollar
if you
amount?
guys are, yeah, if you guys are okay with the language that's on there, the only thing really that's left is the thresholds. And we can change the thresholds at any time, but that was really the only thing, is where do you guys want whose authority to do what to extend?
so it looks like it's set for 5,000 or less approved by the mayor, 5,001 or more to be approved by city council.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different categories with different thresholds. Is that for public works? That sounds
Equipment.
like- Oh, equipment purchases, okay, yeah.
Professional
Same
services.
is the same, and so is non-professional, and so is public works.
Mhm.
5,000 is a lot of money.
Was this plagiarized or copied?
It started off as being plagiarized or copied, but because of the small works roster requirement that came in July, the one that I was working on was out of date, so pretty much I just used the one, I think it was this Bainbridge Island.
Okay.
More, pretty much used it as a template for the points that needed to be addressed.
So from the west side, so we didn't look at anything over that somebody uses here in Lincoln County, or?
There weren't any samples that was about as small a city as I could find. It was a code city. It's pretty comprehensive, I'll admit. I don't know if that's a bad idea. I mean, we're talking about how this citizens' money is being spent.
And the attorney looked at it and do you happen to recall what he wanted changed in it?
There were a couple of RCWs that were numbered incorrectly. The way it was originally written was the written contract to be approved for Public Works was written not that tightly, so he wanted some wording added in there that on a Public Works contract that it had to be approved by you. It was every single contract had to be approved by council, but it was the wrong sentence in the wrong space. So
I see. So example, that would be,
Joe, what is, you guys have to go out to competitive bid. What is your guys' bottom, is it 250,000 or is it less?
To go to bid.
Yeah,
Well, and it's all in different categories, and
Right.
you were talking about the thresholds. I know some of our departments are 10,000. You
Right.
know, it's all different, and we just wrote ours as well because of all the new rules, regulations. I've been talking to Whitman County a lot, and gonna use MRSC for, you know, the small works roster, and so. But yeah, I think that it's 10,000 for us as far as. Yeah, going through your roster, but then the small works is 5, so it's all over the place, just depending on your different categories.
I know the key thing is that any public works project that.
here our small works process, it says 350,000 or less.
Yeah, anything that's 350 or 1,000 or less has to go through the small
Formal
works, the formal bid and the small works roster. They do make an exception there if there was an emergency, because I was freaking out on our water emergency if that we were gonna get in trouble, but that was legit and above board.
let's see that for a second. Thank
Yep.
you. And we didn't have anything in the files or anything similar to this before? Really? Resolution or an ordinance? I thought there was something.
Even if we did, because of the rule changes in July 1st, we're doing this anyway.
Right. Well, well, I know if you get to equipment, obviously depending on what, 5,000 really, I mean, it's a lot, but it's not a lot. But if you're talking like a lawnmower, weed whackers and, you know, trimmers and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I think we already kind of authorized
We
the
still
mayor to
have a
do
budget
that.
we have to adhere
Right.
to. Talked to somebody just last week that spent $9,800 for a lawnmower.
Mm-hmm.
Must be a nice lawnmower.
We obviously need the policy in place.
Yes. Well, I mean,
Really, the only things, are we comfortable with the 5,000 or less dollar amount is, I mean, the terminology needs to stay in there because that's part of what's needed.
Well, the different categories, you know, the equipment, supplies, materials, and then professional services, non-professional services. Can we think of one example, of non-professional service would be what?
weed spraying.
You're supposed to have a license though, so that would be under professional.
Lawnmower, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hiring a window washer. I don't know.
Mural painter.
There you
I don't need a license.
There you go.
I'm hardly professional.
Technically, you're supposed to. Painting contract?
I'm old enough to buy the paint.
Well, it says here, the approval levels are, okay. They're covered by budget appropriations previously approved by the city council, so. You know, like you said, but you'd still have to have 5,000 in there if you were using 5,000 to be approved by the
Right.
budget,
Yeah.
yeah. So. There you
I
go.
mean, technically, we should have had a motion before we had all the discussion, but yes. That'd be wonderful.
I make a motion that we adopt the current Harrington procurement policy resolution.
I second.
Number 255.
Yeah, it wasn't on here, but yeah.
Yeah.
Number 255.
Yeah, that is a good one, right?
Yes, that's a good one.
And Gavin seconded it,
Yep.
right? Because the question is we all agree on the 5,000?
Yeah, I mean, it's, like Mr. Mayor said, it's in their approved budget, so, I mean, it would have to be in an approved budget to be able
Yeah, I
to
think.
spend the money,
I
so.
don't think the budget has $5,000 of Mars bars in there, so.
I would hope not.
I'm curious about the difference. 3-1's 5,000 or less. But anything over 2,500 requires,
They may have,
why is there the difference in the 4.0? Equipment, supplies, and materials unrelated to public works and non-professional services purchases. And then 3.1, equipment, supplies, and materials unrelated to public works projects is 5,000. But on the next page, it's 2,500 or less, and then 2,500 to 9,000 or 999,999.
good question.
Good question, we can correct it.
I'd say good catch.
Yeah.
I'm just,
No, you're right. If it's inconsistent, we need to correct it.
yeah, because at 4.2, it says minimum of 3 quotes. So, I mean, you can leave it the same way. I was just curious why the variance.
I put numbers on there because we needed to get the conversation started.
And is 2,500 appropriate for the level of requiring a minimum of 3 quotes? That means if you're gonna buy a lawnmower, you gotta get 3 quotes on where you're buying it from.
Some of those services maybe, or that's equipment, that probably wouldn't be difficult for equipment. If that's what,
A lot of places
what you guys
do that.
what you guys want, I care not.
Well, I mean, you spend $3,000 on patch for the roads, you're gonna have to get bids from 3 people.
Yeah. Which would be difficult because I could only get 2.
Right.
I
That's-
just,
Yeah.
So maybe that number needs to be,
But isn't that's services and equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
yeah, that's the only reason I was calling it. I could see that number being a little low for normal maintenance and administration procurement.
Well, my biggest thing is whatever the number is, they should be consistent across the document.
so
So
put it to 5,000 like the rest of them. I mean, that would be,
whatever you guys are comfortable with. I mean, it's.
Well, and without seeing the document, I know that there's different levels for procurement, and I think that's talking about procurement rather than the actual spending authority. And if it's 25 and under, you only have to go and get 3 quotes, and it makes it easier. And if it's 5,000 and over, then there's a different procurement model where you have to go out and get bids. And without seeing that, I think that that's talking about your actual getting quotes versus bids, and it's based on the dollar amount,
Okay.
rather than your
Yeah.
spending authority with or without council.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
should be RCW based, I would think,
A lot of them are 3 bids for everything.
based on the value.
People that
Yeah,
do
so the document states 2,500 or less requires no solicitation or advertisement. 2,501 to just under 100,000 requires 3 quotes. And then anything over 100,000 requires competitive bids, competitive quotes. So
What's the
I-
difference? Thanks, Joe, for clearing that up.
Yeah.
it's more about the submission process than it is about,
The dollar amount.
yeah. And then I'm gonna ask why, if maintenance needs to go buy a blade for a lawnmower and it costs $35, they still have to come to you for approval?
Well, they typically do, yes. Because they don't have any, they have to get a card or something from us, they can't just go get it.
It's crazy.
We don't have standard procurement contracts with companies?
No, we do not,
At this time.
at this time.
We've been trying to, but
No,
Okay.
I'd like to get a formal PO system established.
example, Les Schwab, tires, batteries, state bid, goes, the county goes through that.
Like HGC or, yeah.
I just, from my experience, like, for me at work, I've got a $10,000 limit on my credit card. If I need something from an IT perspective, I'm allowed to purchase it, I just have to justify it. And then anything beyond that goes through bids, approvals, manager approval. I still have to get approval for the purchases I've made, but
Yeah, for the most part. No. Not in Harrington.
Should we change that?
I think we can, yeah.
I would consider that before we do this. Set a lower dollar amount, anything under $500. I mean, as long as there's a billing contract associated with the company we're purchasing it from.
So right now, example, they need a battery for a truck. They have to ask you to purchase it, or do they go purchase it?
Well, they don't have the means to purchase it, so they have to come to City Hall anyway to get the
Right.
city credit card. So,
So we don't have a contract with Motion or something where he can call up and say, hey, I need a new battery. It's
if there's
$200.
anyone that we have that agreement with, it'd be Harrington Truck and Auto.
Well, I know Interstate Battery delivers to them. Maybe stuff like that, we need to just go through Interstate.
Motion delivers here twice a day.
Yeah, and I always
They
see
have
them
everything.
too.
Motion too,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in the future, we'll change that. That'll be a interworks, internal policy.
Or this gets rewritten to include that. Like I said, it's a resolution, so I mean, it's designed to be flexible and to be altered.
It's guidance.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say is I would include that, but I would also put a policy in place on who's allowed to establish contracts with vendors, if there isn't one.
authorized purchasers.
Makes sense.
Okay. Well, I'm good with the 5,000, you know, how it's, the dollar figures.
Like I said, we can bring this back up and fine tune it. Just, we've been moving this down the road for about a month and a half, and we need to get this documented.
We gotta get the
We need to
state
get
off your
a
back.
policy, procurement policy in play. I'd like to get the city reimbursed the $11,000 and then get the auditor to check off their box.
I would recommend one for setting up procurement contracts and this at the same time.
Okay.
If we don't have something in place already, I don't know if there's something in the ordinances associated with procurement.
Not that I found.
Okay.
Okay, any other further discussion?
I'm good.
Not here.
Not here.
Okay. All in favor of approving resolution number 255, 2024? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Four.
Any nays? Any abstains?
I'll abstain at this time.
Okay.
401.
Thank you. We'll get that scanned and off to the people that want to see it tonight.
And then we can revisit the other ones that Chris had brought up.
Yeah, yeah, I got some notes right here. Okay, thank you. Additions to the agenda, but I think we got that answered.
Yeah, it's already resolved with the county.
Okay. Approve the September 9 city council meeting, meeting minutes.
I did not see those yet. Why? Motion to approve as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve the I apologize, that's October 9th.
Yeah.
October 9th minutes. Any further discussion? All in favor of the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Any abstain?
I'll abstain.
Okay. 401. Thank you. To approve the October payroll.
I do have a couple questions.
Yes.
There's 20 hours of holiday pay on Donna's, but nobody else has holiday pay on theirs.
Donna did take a vacation.
But that's not
Holiday?
holiday.
It's not holiday though. Vacation's vacation. Okay.
I don't get holidays on Mondays, so I take them later.
She's off on Mondays.
Okay.
So is that how Joanne compensated?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, okay, hold time out.
That's being off on Mondays is not, that's not holiday pay though,
No.
but it's under holiday pay.
20 hours.
20 hours.
Holidays that I got credit for were on Mondays.
But how come nobody, well, follow the bouncing ball, nobody else has holiday pay.
Everyone else got the holiday pay on the holiday.
But it shouldn't be 20 hours of holiday.
Do we know which holidays they were credited for?
Labor Day, and I forget now, I have to look.
So
And don't you have to,
I'm curious, you don't work Mondays?
Right. I work 10 hours
if you
a day.
don't work, you wouldn't get a holiday pay. I mean, typically, would you? I mean,
I-
that's my confusion.
I believe in the employee handbook, it allocates for it. They're entitled to holiday pay for these specific days.
Even if they're not scheduled to work for those days anyway?
I have never heard of that.
The employee handbook is pretty liberal compared to, at least especially when I was.
We might need to revisit that. I mean, that
But
doesn't make any sense. My head does not compute that at all.
I'm at a loss too, because the place I work, there's multiple shifts. If you're not actually scheduled to work, you don't get holiday pay for it.
and two, I'm not failing to see anybody else getting holiday pay that it worked it or scheduled to work. First of all, what holidays was there between 9/26 and 9/20, or excuse me, correction, 9/26
And 10/25.
and 10/25? There was what,
Columbus Day was on a Monday. That's the only holiday I can think of. And that normally typically wasn't in the past a paid holiday, but
Is there a copy of the handbook available?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on a computer, but you can.
I just saw that nobody else had it, so that
I
was.
think it's I'll just go through there. I think chapter 4 talks about,
I didn't know if they needed it or if it was just an oversight or
that'd be chapter
one
1.
way or the other.
Why isn't the other people, why don't they have it?
I don't know. I can't answer.
Well,
that.
that's what threw it. I didn't know if that was vacation time that was stuck on holiday. You know, on the wrong line.
With, Lowe has gone through our employee handbook, and they literally keep track of all of the sick pay, vacation pay, holiday pay. They administer that pretty tightly.
So why would have one employee get it and not the rest?
That's the part I don't
And I don't know
understand.
why it accumulated, but with this being the end of her time with us, is probably why it came out, but I didn't know it was accumulating.
The only thing I can think of a holiday would be in the month of September. I mean, that was before that, it was Labor Day.
Where in, is there an adopted list of paid holidays.
Yeah, it's in there. I can. Maybe I can help you out.
I'm sorry, not good with hard copy.
You and Steven like the computers.
I like paper.
I,
Hear that, Steven? There's one up on you.
Yeah, if you've got the document in a searchable form, I would just search for Juneteenth because we were obliged to add that as a holiday because of the federal and state guidance. So the easiest way to search that would be through that keyword, I think.
And Chris, as soon as we have your email set up, I can send that document electronically.
please.
How can I find stuff better at home than here? Does that happen to anybody else? Okay, there we go.
Can you just search in there for June?
Well, if it was June, we're talking September.
I know, but
The list is,
where'd it go?
I don't know. Could it be vacation days? Did you take any vacation?
You can just count it as vacation if you want. It's been,
But is
been
it,
done like this for 2 years, so.
but is that correct though? 20 hours of
'Cause I
vacation?
work 10-hour days.
There wasn't two.
She accrues them, so if it starts in January, she could easily have all those.
So they have sick
The only one I see in here for September would be Veterans Day.
Yeah. Labor Day and Veterans Day. You know, Labor Day, that's usually September, first part of September.
Yeah, but this is the last part of September.
I know. Yeah, so.
Kind of a mute point anyways, because it's already paid.
Do we know you're working 4/10s? Do we normally pay 10 hours instead of 8 hours on?
I'd have to go look at the past records. I don't know what's happening.
You know, the county, are they 8 or 10 hours paid?
So for shift work, I see where that is being accrued. So if there is a holiday on Monday and she's working 4/10, she's doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, she's doing a 40-hour week. And if somebody worked Monday through Thursday with that holiday, they do a 30-hour week. So with her working a 40-hour week, she's accruing a holiday. And there should be a number of them in February, you know, you got Labor Day and Memorial Day. I'm sure that she's accrued for, you know, it's not just for the time block, it's for the whole time that she's worked here, and I can easily see.
And those should be paid
how-
in those pay periods. I mean, I would have thought. But in this pay period from 9/26 to 10/25, there's,
She could accrue those over the year, you don't have to cash them out, and then you use
I've
them
never
for your
heard of that.
vacation.
Yeah, I don't think our handbook states it that way.
I haven't heard anybody do it that way.
Yeah. But,
Oh, you remember back there, they didn't get Groundhog Day, they get paid for, you know, I mean, I just don't,
I'm good.
a bookkeeping nightmare.
that was, I just,
We actually need a motion to approve.
Yeah. This is in discussion mode, right?
Well,
Yeah.
so we haven't had a motion to approve or not. So
Oh, I thought you said
technically
we did.
No, we didn't. So,
Motion to approve payroll as presented.
I've got one more question.
Just somebody
we
second
just
it.
have to approve, then we'll have just more discussion.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Okay,
I think we
second.
have-
Okay, now we can discuss. Go for it.
In all my years, I've never gotten overtime, sick time, and vacation time all in one check.
Sick.
I,
In this game, it's over the course of the month. There are doctor visits, there are vacations, and there are holidays.
Well, the only question I have, I mean,
Okay.
I can see where if you take a sick day during that pay period, you get paid, you get paid for what you use, your work, vacation, whatever. But the holiday pay, regardless if it was whatever, nobody else, I don't see it on this pay period of anybody else getting holidays pay. And that goes back to you saying, our book doesn't say nothing about accruing. I don't get that. It's it's kind of like Enron math, you know?
well, I would have expected every employee to have holiday pay
Right.
for that amount, and it wouldn't show up under regular, it would show up under holiday.
Correct.
It really depends on how the budget's being reflected from the hours. If you're allocating money as holiday pay and you're allocating money as sick pay, if a holiday occurs, that's coming out of a different portion of the budget, isn't it?
Well,
No.
It's all one lump sum, it doesn't matter?
Salaries are salaries are salaries.
but keep in mind, this will make a difference, this will make a difference on cash out of vacation pay.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah, at first I thought maybe it was just an error and that was supposed to just be in vacation instead of in holiday type thing, but for the cash out.
I can research and find out and get back to you guys with which holidays that represents.
And if there's something that needs to be addressed in our policy handbook, we should get on that as a council. I know Stephen and I and Nathan, we worked on it extensively. And I think we all agreed that there was some stuff tailoring that we needed to tighten up and revisit, and probably this would be one of them. And then the former council member that was here, she's resigned. Now we have a new one in that place. And I was on that committee to do that, and maybe we can take the ball and run with it to avoid, so we don't run into this, so we can address this. Okay. Mayor's gonna look into it, so it's already paid, so into my discussion.
Any further discussion?
Good.
All in favor of approving the payroll, please signify by saying aye.
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 I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. All opposed, signify by saying aye. And all
Well,
those
maybe
abstain.
change that, correction, change that to a no, till we
Okay.
get it figured out. Sorry to do
Okay,
that to
so
you.
I've got
2 yeses and 1 no.
1 no.
Any abstain?
Abstain.
I'm gonna abstain.
So 2, 2, 1, 2.
Okay.
Never had that before.
All right. Thank you. I'll get that information to you guys.
What was the vote on that, Joe?
2, 1, 2.
And so the motion is considered failed, then, right?
You have to have 3.
Because you need 3, right,
That's
Stephen?
1. That's passed.
Abstain, you didn't vote at all.
Yes, abstain is
Yeah,
another
so-
vote, so
yeah.
2 to 1.
2 to
passes.
1.
So-
2 to 1 passes.
According to the employee handbook, when there's an abstention for a code city, in the absence of a direction of that, the abstention actually lowers the total count. So if it's 2, 1, 2, well, I guess sorry, I guess my mind's not thinking right. That is still quorum. So never mind, we're
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
I know where you're going with that, Stephen, no worries.
So,
We know you're not feeling well.
okay. Do you guys have the check record? The check register for October 9th for just observation.
Oh, yeah.
So again, these have already been approved. Just verifying that what you guys approved was paid.
Don't want that.
Looks good to me.
Okay.
Should we do, okay. I have a note on my payroll approval, 10/30/24. That was written by, what did it say it has, right here, what's that say?
Oh, just needing pay, this is for
Oh, yeah.
the
Okay.
10:30 meeting payroll approval.
Yeah, we're on check register, I
Yeah.
know it's, okay. Okay, never mind, forget that, everybody.
Okay. New claims for October 30th. A lot went on.
New claims.
month.
Did we have an updated list of those? Yeah, we did, and I got it in front of me, didn't know, or Mr. Mayor, but, I don't have the, it's on the computer, I don't know what has changed, anything?
I quite honestly didn't even look at the
Okay.
one that got replaced before it got replaced.
So the auditor is charging okay. Motion to approve payroll, or excuse me, claims as presented.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, now,
Okay, discussion. Thank you, David.
we're batting 1,000 tonight, aren't we? Auditor, $139 an hour, and they've spent 24 and a half hours. What was the projection of hours? Was it 20? Was projected at the start of
was
it?
160.
Oh, was it?
Or what?
140.
140?
Oh,
That'll break the bank.
so we can go at least 6 times. So, what do we estimate? 20,000?
I think that's typically what but that's what we paid last year, and then some.
Right, or last time, yeah.
So all I can say is they ask, and we've been getting them the documents that they're asking for as quickly as humanly possible. We're trying to get this thing put to bed as fast as we can.
Right. Public code 10.
I will point out the Lincoln County Public Works,
Uh-huh.
down towards the bottom on the left side. That was for the bridge repair, and we
Oh.
paid for half of that previously. But that was quite a bit more than 5,000.
It was like
What they
10 or
dis-
11,
yeah,
12.
Yeah, what they discovered is they had actually invoiced us for all the materials all at once. So all we had to do here was we've already front paid on all the materials, so this was just paying for the labor to finish it up. So
So
that's
the-
why it came in less.
So the total project was 17,000?
It's around 15,000. So we were concerned because it was, the first bill came in at 10, and we were thinking that's gonna be 20 grand, because this was the first half, so. They,
I thought-
I don't have the bid in front of us, but this is basically where they said they were gonna come in at.
Perfect.
What's it say on page 2, mini excavator rental for $23,698?
Thank you for seeing that. It's because it carried on to the next page. The 23,000 is the total for the entire.
We
month.
bought one.
If we rented one for 23 grand, I'd shoot myself.
We'd
We'd probably vote you off the island.
Yeah.
You better have kept it.
So this number
Yeah.
is the excavator for a
That,
week.
yeah, that makes sense.
And we're using Sunbelt Rentals up there, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I've got that covered.
They've been pretty responsive. They've made a couple of mistakes that they've had to make good on. Deliver the wrong piece of equipment or the wrong attachment on a piece of equipment.
And outside of the convenience of location, I know, is it wrong, the John Deere place and Cat, or two other places, did you call around and out, compare, are we getting a good deal with this? It should be comparable.
I've been leaving this to Ken in his
Okay.
experience. I've seen people go both ways on my day job.
But my experience tells me this is pretty much in the ballpark, because there's a delivery charge on that too, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if there's an argument for getting one of these,
this is it.
I mean, even the delivery and pickup charge is, it's either $400 or $600 for the trip.
Yeah.
Round trip. You know,
Yeah.
we pay
Truck
that
and
once a
trailer, you
month.
could go pick it up. and
Well,
save, but then you're paying for the truck and trailer.
In other words, the frequency that we're using this would justify getting one and even making the payments on it like that.
Because we have the operator that,
Knows what you're doing,
yeah,
use it.
yeah. As a matter of fact, I suggested that we sell the backhoe and replace it with one of these, and he's like, no, we've got specific deals, but he can't do with the backhoe what he can do with the Mini X.
Right.
And with as much precision even, so.
I'd pay him to excavate my lot up there.
So, don't give me any ideas.
Okay, well, that's something, another topic, but that's one in our workshops that we should have put a star by. And those are handier, and I'll get out.
And the backhoe repairs, just in case he rebuilt the cylinders, hydraulic cylinders for the bucket. They were leaking like a sieve, so those got completely rebuilt. There was a bunch of other little stuff that he got cleaned up, and there was an oil leak that he found a bad connection on.
Wasn't there an electrical issue with it too? Was that fixed?
No, that's.
Work of progress.
They're apparently a smaller company, so they wanted to get this paid for before they came out and dealt with.
What, where is that at on this?
It's in the middle, it's $1,166.
Oh, Central Machine, okay, I got
Central
you.
Machinery Sales.
Out of Moses, right? Moses Lake?
I honestly don't know. I know Ken called around and found these guys, and they agreed to come out and not charge us an arm and a leg.
That's Central, that's Moses Lake.
Well, there's one in Spokane too, I'm thinking of.
Well, you know what?
That's why you might want to reconsider some of that procurement stuff. Think about stuff like this. Now all of a sudden, what has to go to bid, what has to go to multiple vendors.
Right. Yeah, because right now we don't have that. Well, we do now.
Well, Central Machinery is a Case IH dealer, so. Okay, I see we're all
Okay.
evergreen,
Any further discussion on the claims?
no, that's it, that's good.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Nays? And abstains?
I'll abstain.
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to
No,
look.
you're fine. You're fine.
If y'all wouldn't mind signing that copy.
Get it all done this time, right?
I think so. Mayor's comments, I'll make it quick. There's there's a lot going on, but we have found and I have offered a position to, and she has accepted for a new clerk treasurer. She will start on November 12th.
Who is she?
She is Cassie Nixon.
I only had one question about how, and I don't know this, I don't know the answer, so I know it was only on Indeed, did it go into our legal paper?
It went into the Lincoln Advertiser.
That's not our legal paper, though.
I didn't put it in the legal paper. I didn't think that it was, I didn't feel the newspaper was going to reach.
I get
The
it that the
entire-
Lincoln Advertiser goes to
Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah.
but, yeah. So I just didn't know if we had a policy in place for things
Yeah,
like this that need
I
to,
don't think we do.
we probably need to visit that too.
The only thing, okay, did you already offer a wage and everything?
Mm-hmm.
That's my only problem I have with this, is that council's not set the schedule yet.
Yeah. And in working on the budget, I found that in Springbrook, we actually have the ability to pre-program those tiers into it, which will be nice.
Yeah, but we haven't set those tiers as a council.
No, so there's nothing in there, so, but yeah, that's why I brought that to you guys last time, is I would love to see a tiered system. ABC, 1, 2, 3, whatever you guys wanna call it. Apple,
Right.
Orange, something along those lines.
Would you be able to share how much you offered?
I'd be happy to, off air.
Even, I mean, I do have, it says under hiring in our policy, in our book. Or maybe this is MRSC, because I
No,
can't
that's our
remember.
policy book.
Yeah. Says when a position becomes vacant and prior to any posting or advertisement of the vacancy, the council and mayor shall review the position, its job description, and the need for such a position. The position may be posted and or advertised only after the need for the position has been determined and the request has been approved. So, we're just not following, we're following in some areas, then we're just not following in some areas. And we need to, if we're gonna be following this book, then we need to be doing it.
That's the.
That's
That's the employee handbook.
employee handbook.
Okay.
No, I don't want that.
It just makes for a
Well, we
mess.
probably need to update that because at the time that was written also, we did not have a clerk treasurer position.
That's-
So,
Doesn't matter.
because right now we don't have anybody to,
Until it gets changed, that's
Yeah.
what we go by until, as a council, we change it.
What was her name again?
How many applicants did you get?
just her at the time I offered her the position. After I offered her, I had a number of other people come in, but I haven't spoken to them yet.
When did it close?
When I offered her the position.
So it wasn't open for a determined amount of time?
That's against RCWs. Big time against RCWs.
I'll have to read up on that then.
Yeah, and it's against the handbook and everything. Cannot legally do that. And I can handwrite it.
Responsibility, where the heck is it right here? Final.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Public comments?
You're not following the law. Not following RCWs.
Duly noted, I will read up on those.
It'll get you in a lot of trouble and lawsuits. You can personally be held responsible.
Do you have
Oh, do it, you want me to do that?
we good? Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oh, aye. I'm not opposed. I'm in favor.
Aye.
Okay. Meeting ends at 20:23, 8:23.
Oh, it worked fine?
Yep. Okay, back at it.
Joe, you'll have to stop the YouTube stream.
He's over there right now.
Well, Stephen, can you play some elevator music or something?
Yeah.